players before we get started. Put that in the background. So first up, I'd like to introduce Tazarath, who is played by Sir Lean. He's having some connection problems, so he'll speak up when he has a more stable one. Next, I'd like to introduce Snake and the Fixer-Upper, played by...
Ryanaga. Snake is a Yuan-Ti sorcerer of a draconic heritage, and Fixer-Upper is a half-orc war priest.
Excellent. Followed by Tristan, played by...
Will, and Tristan is a kobold wizard.
Kobold Wizard. Marvelous. Um, Divination Wizard, yes.
Yes.
Melrath, played by...
Starmie827, and Melrath is a Dwarven Eldritch Knight.
Excellent. And last but not least, we have Bob, played by...
That would be me, Barska, and Bob is a Tiefling Warlock.
Excellent. Okay, so when last we met, the party had made their way into Blingdenstone, and they, in order to achieve their goals, are attempting to convince the deep gnomes that they are worthy of trust and consideration and other such things. So they have learned of several different things that they might do to secure different sections of the city so the deep gnomes will have an opportunity to expand. They've been here working to clear out the city for about a decade, and they've made, a fair bit of progress. I think they've claimed over half of it. But the remaining 40% is that half? It doesn't matter. The remaining amount of space that is still yet to be reclaimed is important because people are kind of living on top of each other right now. For their first foray into the more dangerous parts of Blingdenstone, they have chosen to go up against a Medusa that was rumored to live in the area. The party had snuck in and they had encountered ghosts. And having briefly battled the ghost, they managed to find a stash. They found a waterfalled area, which has several large statues in it, and it seems that there's a big tall platform in the back which may have something up there. But more importantly, they located three other points of interest. First, and I'm just going to draw some pointers so that everybody who's playing can see, this is where the statues were located. If you remember from last time, I believe it was Tristan's familiar went inside of that cave and found that there were 30 statues of drow warriors, and think something along the same lines as terracotta warriors, except they're made of stone and not clay. Um, and while the bat was inside, um, there was a whole lot of dust that was inside, and it seemed like some of the statues might be moving. Um, Now, across from that over here, this seems to be the lair of the Medusa. Now, at the time that you had gone inside, the Medusa, and I'm just checking. Yeah, she was standing with her eyes closed and arms crossed as if in meditation or in prayer. But her hair was writhing around, and as Bat kind of flapped around inside, anytime that the bat drew close to the Medusa, the hair would pick up in activity and get more agitated. So the bat made a good point of keeping its distance and didn't go all the way inside the cavern. But the Medusa herself never actually seemed to react to the bat's presence. Um, so there's that. And then the final piece is way down here at the bottom. Oh, I have to move that. Right about here. There is a series of stone menhirs. As a reminder, menhirs are stones that are similar in appearance, shape, and size to those at Stonehenge. Um, so, think very primitive spiritual objects. And there seems to be either the complete or partial remains of some strange temple here, but there was nothing immediately obvious as to its function or anything else. And there certainly didn't seem to be any creatures around that would be, exploring the area or anything like it. So um, I think you had all largely left it as it was. So um, at the moment, your the party was trying to decide what approach that they wanted to take when it comes to dealing with um, the two obvious threats and in what order.
By the way, I return.
Hi.
Hi.
Woohoo.
And you said we couldn't sneak up behind her and stab her, right?
Um, well, you could, but there's you have. Please remember that if this was an Umber Hulk, a large dumb beast, but that is very strong, sneaking up behind it might not be a difficult thing, but this is a humanoid creature with this generally as much intelligence as many of the players themselves. So that intelligence makes her more of a threat than other monsters, and in addition to the magical effects that you well know that Medusas have. So you can try to sneak up behind her, but if she's laid a trap or something else, that could go badly on you. Oh, and I'm so sorry. There's one last thing I almost forgot to mention. Right here, there is a crystal garden. There's a number of crystal formations erupting through the floor, creating a kaleidoscope of colors on the surrounding walls. The crystals are semi-transparent, slightly distorting images seen through them, and there's a statue of a gnome that cowers near a crystal outgrowth, holding a broken crystal in its hands. And I had pointed him out before. Now, I'm going to expand this ring for a second. I believe this space occupied within this ring, except for the two caves, are filled with fungus called nightlights. And the nightlights give you uh, normal light in this area. So this whole space is fully lit. You don't have to rely on dark vision. And they just grow all over the place. And they're not dangerous or anything. That's their function. So anyways. Um, right. It is an option. It's possible. It may not be very safe. And certainly only one person could sneak up behind her and attempt to stab her. So if that doesn't kill her, then you might be in trouble.
Anyone want to make a new character?
I mean, you
I
can
say we
start.
send Bat.
You can.
He can carry a knife in his jaws, right?
The funny thing is that in this edition, they specifically said familiars cannot attack. It's part of the
Ooh.
spell.
Probably wise, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It prevents a lot of cheese.
A lot of cheese, and it also prevented a lot of familiar deaths.
Aw,
I mean, that bat has 2 hit
poor
points,
Bat.
so
No. He has one.
he has 1
All
hit point.
familiars,
Wow.
all familiars have 1 hit point.
Yeah. So ultimately, do you guys remember what you were discussing last time? Do you need a
We're
reminder?
discussing what we're going to do because the reason we are going after the Medusa is because we're trying to um, make the people of Blinkdenstone like us more. And this is one of the tasks they asked us to do. And they'll reward us if we can get the Medusa to leave and we can prove that she's left, either with her head coming out or like a signed note being like, hey, I'm gone, bye.
Right.
So I'm worried about the stone statues. I'm worried about the Medusa. I'm not sure which one I'm worried about more. Both of them are within screaming distance of one another, so it's not helpful.
Should we well, if we broke all the statues, she'd probably hear and wake up, wouldn't she?
Possibly. I mean, she wasn't actually asleep. She was in meditative prayer in front of some sort of shrine. But there wasn't really anything about the shrine that was distinctive. Like normally, um, you know,
Sure, breaking.
you were very robotized. I don't think any of us got that. Okay.
Mm.
So, yeah, I see his connection was lost. Chris, if you could hear me, I would recommend typing in the chat window. And if anybody sees it and I don't react to it, please alert me. Um, anyways, it's difficult to say. Um, if you guys here, everybody roll a quick wisdom check for me. Just roll off of your wisdom stat, not the save. Wow, Eric, wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, well, there we go. I feel better about that at least. All I was really going to say, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have largely figured this out, but just in case, the difficulty of the situation here is that because these caves have those little entrances that you can see, if you go in with the Medusa and you fight her, and then she has some command over those statues, they are in fact animate or golems or something like that, then those creatures will be able to enter behind you and block off your escape path. Conversely, if you go after the statues and the Medusa hears and comes to investigate, then she would also very effectively cut off your escape path. Although uh, I think I would argue that in its own way, like physically getting around one Medusa, even if you have to take a disengage action, would be easier. But if
Hmm.
there's a literal wall of stone statues, then there's no place for you to move.
Yeah, I was kind of starting to lean that way too, and maybe just hurl a fireball in there and kill them all at once, and then we can deal with Medusa.
Are the statues heavy? Could we move them?
We have no fucking idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, the only way we've seen the statues is Bat going in there and
Oh,
going,
right.
"Yeet."
and Bat
What?
was
How?
well out of their reach, so they may have a different reaction to someone physically standing in front of them. Um,
Oh, and we have no idea what they're made of other than stone. Is
correct.
what
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Ah,
Should
Now,
we go in and tap one of them on the shoulder and see what happens while someone has a fireball behind their back?
well, yeah, but I was just thinking, stone and fire. I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
if it's like, I was thinking it was made out of something else. Never mind.
so let me back up for just a second. Some rules that I wouldn't have needed to bring up prior to now. Um, let's just assume for a second that only one or some of those statues are in fact animate. Okay,
Hmm.
if they're animate creatures, then they have a stat block and they have sort of the normal rules of combat, regardless of what they're made out of. Okay, but if it turns out that any of the statues are um, inanimate and they are
Hmm.
simply statues, then a different set of rules applies to the breakage of objects because, players are always saying, oh, I'll use acid splash to burn through the door, right? Well, the rules, as it were, come down to objects have a hardness, so they have both an AC and then they have what is functionally a damage reduction. Um,
Hmm.
and then they have hit points beyond that. So if you can make it past their AC, their damage reduction, and hit their actual hit points, then you can destroy them in that way. And depending on the size of the object and the composition of the object, I have a whole chart as to exactly how that all plays out. But I just wanted you to know that the rules are somewhat different for objects because if you use the fireball, it it may be the case that that is very effective in an area, but um, some of that damage reduction may end up absorbing a chunk of the damage, and you won't ever know quite how much.
Right, and there's also the potential that some of them might be animate when we do chuck the fireball, and then the other ones won't be, but then they'll be turned on by some mechanism of some sort.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot to consider.
There is a lot to consider. I'm also skimming through here to see if there's any other bit of information. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they didn't even have a proper description for the room. But
Hmm.
I think I have a good understanding of what's in there. So if you want another description, I'll be happy to provide it.
Sure.
Okay. So the cave inside, um, is a space hollowed out inside of this. I believe it's a stalagmite. Anyways, there are a total of 30 statues. They're all arranged in perfect rows and columns. They are standing as if they are on guard. Um, the walls inside have a worked appearance. So, imagine the inside of a cave. The stone wall is irregular. In this particular cave, it appears that at some point, some person went
I
in
swear
and
to God, this freaking thing.
hey, Chris, if you have more difficulty, please feel free to type into the chat as well. Um, and, I'll have people keeping an eye on it in case I miss it. Okay, so anyways, um, the inside has been worked. It appears someone used a hammer and chisel to give the walls the appearance of stone bricks, although they are not made of stone bricks. Um, it is unclear what this space was for in the past. It largely seems to be pretty featureless. Okay. There were a number of scrapes across the floor that indicate maybe there was furniture at some point that was dragged out of here. And there are also some stone pieces that look like they were part of statues that were smashed, um, and they're all kind of along the wall and very irregular in shape and appearance.
Hmm.
And then again, one of the other most notable features in here is that there's a fair bit of dust in the air, and it seems to mostly be settling down from the ceiling, which isn't worked. Um, and yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
there's also no sources of light inside, nor is there
Hmm.
any night light growing in there, so it's dark. Now, there's also a big shaft of light coming from outside because all the night lights shine through the entrance.
And can you go over the gnome thing again one more time?
The statue. Yes, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Um, here's the actually I can just plop this right in the chat. I already read this
Okay.
once, and you can see it now. There may be more to learn if you physically walk up to it and attempt to examine it. So that's a possibility.
I'll do that.
Okay. So here's what I'd like to do. Um, just to give you guys a healthy fear of death. I'm going to move the party to here,
Okay.
and I would like all of you to decide where you're going to be when this happens. Now, for the purposes of Tristan, I'm going to move him to right here because I know that's where the statue is. If anybody else is following him, place yourself within this space. It's fine to place yourself on a stair or anywhere else. But, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I guess we're all going over there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody's coming to
Peer pressure.
investigate.
I don't even know what's going on. I'm just going.
Okay.
Chris, check the chat. There's a description. You're investigating that.
Okay.
Okay. So upon investigation, this statue is definitely of a deep no. You already knew that, but it appears that the deep gnome, like when you get up close to it, one of his eyes is closed very tightly. You can see this tension in the skin. The other eye is wide open and it's holding up this crystal in its hands, which didn't turn to stone when the creature did, and it's looking through that crystal. And so it appears that he was attempting to use it in some way to view the Medusa, perhaps. Um, but it's unclear whether or not that worked because he is, after all, stone. Now, there are other pieces of crystal nearby. It appears that he shattered one of them. And so there's a good dozen pieces of these things. And, the crystal doesn't seem to be anything particularly magical, but it does give a sort of kaleidoscope view of the world around you if you look through it. enough to sort of tell what's where, but not a perfectly clear vision.
Smashy, smashy.
You're gonna smash the crystal pieces further?
I'm throwing it out there for the rest of the party to tell them, say what a bad idea it is. Because if I say it, then it's automatically a bad idea.
Now, Chris. Now. I was thinking a lot about this myself, and I was wondering if perhaps there was a trick to either awaken the statues or shatter the statue that has to do with this statue, but I'm not so sure now.
Well, that statue is that's the gnome that they said went in here that they were hoping we could bring back. So I have a question. What would I have to roll to figure out if someone can come back from being stoned by a Medusa?
Oh, we actually went over that last time, so I'll just tell you. So when we were discussing it last time, what I mentioned was that generally speaking, um, there is a spell or a removal effect called Stone to Flesh,
Mhm.
um, and it it's weird. I looked it up later. It's actually not a spell in this edition. They just put it under different levels of restoration because there's like lesser restoration. I think there's restoration and greater restoration, and they each can cure different effects. And so, what I read some guidance on is that the priest that you already met, the one that was an acolyte essentially, um, he is able to an extent access stone to flesh magic essentially because he worships earth. It is a complex thing for him. It is not an easy thing to do. He can't do it a lot, but he can do it. um, so there you go. Now,
I'm guessing they folded that into the restoration spells because people were casting stone to flesh on like the rocks or something, which is
yeah, and then they were eating them.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So that's unfortunate. People also used to cast it on doors.
Hmm.
Mhm. So, anyways, yeah, it's folded into greater restorations. For the purposes of this, I'm going to be sort of hand waving it and just say that specifically and exclusively Stone to Flesh as an effect is available because the spells that they give that you require to actually undo petrification are like greater restoration, and that can cure just about any condition, which is a little bit too much.
Hmm.
So,
See, I
Okay.
think we should potentially investigate the stone statues first because everyone was agreeing kind of that
oh well, let's make
It's a
this real
greater
simple.
threat. It's a greater threat.
Check mark
also
for
less likely
the
to.
stone statues and X for the Medusa.
Um,
Yeah, exactly what I thought. Everyone's in agreement.
I'm going to pocket a few of the crystals though.
Okay. Is anybody else going to take some?
sure, the fixer-upper will.
there's no reason not to.
Okay.
So you
Um,
think?
now, just so you're aware, like obviously people in the party, for example, have potions, right?
Mhm.
The adventuring gear that you have something a little bit similar to um, Batman's utility belt, in that on your belt you have a couple of pouches of various sizes. You have slots to hold a sword or potions or things like that for easy access. Um, you can either store them in your pack or you can store them in your easy access belt if you think that they will actually help you. But if you
I'll do
put
easy access.
Yeah, if you put it in your backpack, it's going to be an action to remove it, and that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, I'll put them so they're available.
Okay. Is anybody not doing that? Okay, silence is my answer. So, um, let me see here. I need to switch to here. Not to there. Okay, so what is your plan? How are you guys approaching? Is Tristan just going to go in alone? Um, is somebody else going in first? Is anybody waiting outside?
I think we should definitely at least have one
Yeah.
heavily armored person who's not squishy taking the lead, and then at least one person outside making sure that if Madame Medusa decides to show up, that we can run.
Sorry about that. I pressed a button I thought reset it. Okay, so who will that be?
I want to be in the front.
Okay. Okay, so we've got Fixer Upper and Tristan. Is anybody not going in? Okay.
Snake is not going in. No.
Okay, so Melrath and Snake are going to stay outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some characters like so. Tazarath is there. Melrath here, and Snake is here. You guys can sort of rearrange yourselves, but either
Okay.
place yourself inside the
So how
ring or
far
outside.
outside is outside where Snake is compared to these guys?
So unfortunately, there actually isn't a grid for this. I looked very carefully to see if I could find a grid. I
Mhm.
looked at a bunch of other supplemental stuff. There just isn't one. It wasn't provided for this. So I don't know. They didn't say either. Um, I'm going to approximate that it's probably 20 feet from the entrance of one cave to another. So Snake is probably no more than 15 feet away.
Okay.
Now, this cave itself extends in probably 50 feet. That's my guess. And that's what we're going to go by. So, let me
All
also.
within fireball range in case I want some friendly fire.
Yeah, exactly. If Chris gets out of line. So, anyways, let me also shrink this down a little bit, like so, and then there we go. That's much better.
So we're
Um,
only 2 people going in the cave.
there are only 2 people not going in the cave, is my understanding. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody that's inside of it now are inside. So upon entry to the cave, there are 30 statues, but okay. Give me just a moment. Okay, and then click that, and then click that. 6 of them animate. They are not that big.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
do my best to arrange them because again, there's no grid for me to click to. Do. Uh, and shrink them down. Hope you guys are zoomed in. And last one. Hey, don't spend my statues. Thank you. There. Now they're all neatly arranged. So everybody roll initiative, even people that are outside, because you'll still be trapped in initiative as the case may be. Okay, so just wait for everything to pan out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm missing. There it is. Okay, so push this to the top of the round. Wow. Okay. Um, right. So first things first, I have to figure out which one of these this is. How do I? Oh shit. Okay. Sorry. Give me a second. It turns out that if you don't drag these off of the tracker, there we go. If you don't drag these off of the tracker, then it doesn't match up with hit points, damage, doesn't allow you to do any of the targeting or any of that nonsense. So I'm apparently going to have to redo this. So bear with me for just a moment.
Yeah, we can just get rid of that 20 and that 17. Those aren't necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Roll again.
And then 1. And then who's still? There we go. Okay, so now I've got them all. And you are the appropriate monster. Now, as I remember, Fixer Upper said he was going to be up front. So the drow animates. It sneers at you and it charges stiffly across the room. It does a surprisingly good job of avoiding all of the other statues, and it attempts to slam you with its fist. Now, like I said, these things are really stiff, so it's actually fairly easy to deflect this
Giggity.
blow. Next up, this character is also going to move up front. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap Bob and Tazarath, because Tazarath would have been up front anyways, and that
Right.
gives me an
Here's
additional target.
here's my question for you.
Yes.
Where are these things? I can't see them on the map.
Can anyone else not see them?
No, I can see them.
I can
Yeah.
see them.
I got him.
There they go.
It's probably your connection loading up the info. So.
Fucking wonderful.
Oh wow,
The-
he manages to get a very lucky hit and does 6 points of damage from slamming you with his stony fists. Ront is up, and actually I forgot to bring Ront with me, so I'm gonna plop his ass there. as
He's still
Vargas here.
cursed.
Do the voice. Do the voice.
I will do the voice. Vargas is gonna be outside though, because that's Vargas for you.
Is he still cursed though?
Yes, he is in fact still cursed. You guys have not
Poor
cured
guy.
that
I
yet.
thought we don't.
No, you didn't.
I-
You said
I
you
thought
had
you-
time to deal with it.
Somebody else must have said that.
Yeah, it was.
I
really
was trying to
annoying.
get him killed. I'll admit it.
Ront charges forth. I'll smash you to bits, I will. And
Nope.
yeah, that stone
His accent keeps changing though.
It does.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
thank you for
Texan now.
observing that.
Interesting.
Tristan, you're up.
Okay, let me see. I'm just going to cast. Wait. Toll the Dead on the one that is attacking Tazarath.
Okay. So that's
Thank you.
going to be a D8 if you hit.
Nice save.
Yeah. You're lucky that wasn't an attack roll. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's not maximum damage. That's half damage. So the bell tolls and the creature trembles with the sound of the bell. Little bits of it crack and then Fixer Upper. Oh, I'm so sorry. Before we do that, Tristan, was there anything else you wanted to do on your turn?
I'm gonna hide behind Fixer.
Okay.
Do
Anything
you want
else
to
aside from-
identify these things?
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. Thank you. I forget that we can do that.
Yeah,
What role would that be?
This would be Arcana.
Makes sense.
Mm-mm.
God damn it.
You know, these might actually have mechanical components to them. Fixer Upper, it is your turn. What will you do?
Okay.
Just real briefly, after Fixer Upper, there's an unidentified creature and then Bob. Go ahead.
So I'll try to identify as well.
Okay, roll for it.
It's Arcana.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, I have no bonus here. Ooh. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Go roll
All
better
right.
than the person with a +7.
Okay. So these are not a creature that you're truly familiar with, but based on how they seem to be operating and the way that they're moving along, you suspect that these might in fact be elementals. They are likely immune to both poison and psychic. Immune to blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. They seem to be operating based on blind sight. And it's interesting because when you entered, these drow statues were in no way distinguishable from any other drow statues in the room. So as long as a statue remains motionless, it's indistinguishable from any other statue. Now, that said, you have a strong suspicion that these are magically animated, and it may be the case that you might actually be able to dispel the magical effect on them, causing the statue to either just become a statue or disintegrate.
Huh. That's interesting.
Interesting. Does anyone else have Dispel Magic?
Well, Fixer Upper does.
How can you
But
only...
I can only choose to target one creature.
That was my question.
One spell effect, yes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, one spell effect? Is that different from one creature, or is that one creature's effect?
So let me try putting it this way. Let's say that Eric is affected by haste, mage armor, and curse.
Mhm.
If you're using Dispel Magic on him, rather than say Dispel Magic on a creature dispels all of those effects, you choose a single effect to dispel.
Okay, so I can't dispel whatever's animating all of them. It's just one. Okay.
Which makes it a bit more difficult, but yeah.
All right. Well, then that's really not efficient for my turn.
Now, I want to double check though, because I haven't read the Dispel Magic recently, and I just want to make sure that I'm using the rules correctly. So let me look. Fixer Upper, actions, Dispel Magic. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect. Oh, okay. No, I apparently am wrong. You can choose a creature.
Mhm.
Okay, so the important thing is that you cannot, for example, affect like a 30-foot radius area.
Yeah.
You really do
Okay.
have to choose a creature, object, or specific magical effect.
All right. So if I were to create spiritual weapon, since I'm engaged with melee, I would have an attack of opportunity against me.
No.
Okay, then I'll do that since it's a bonus action.
Okay. So let me get you a token.
Thank you.
Yes. When I get this token, do me a favor and quickly check to make sure you can interact with it, because I'm suddenly remembering something odd and concerned that that might be the case. So your massive spiritual weapon manifests and shrinks down to an appropriate size. So I'll put it there. Can you interact with it? There
Yeah,
we
I
go.
just moved it over here to
Perfect.
draw 4.
Actually,
Um,
hold on just a second. I want to try something. I found something even better. Hold on just a second. I'm going to delete that
all
token.
right.
Hey, delete the token. Delete, delete. And then, haha! There you go.
Whoa.
Yeah, flying sword.
Cool. All right, so I will try to attack number 4, I guess. Now, do I cast with that or attack with that?
I'm not understanding the question. Oh, for the purposes of hitting, you use attack.
Okay. Just couldn't remember.
Now, by the way, just so you're aware, if so now that you've cast a spell this turn, you may not cast a spell higher than cantrip in addition to that. So if you wanted to, for example, use Sacred Flame, you could use Sacred Flame and Spiritual Weapon, but you can't use Spiritual Weapon and Guiding Bolt or Cure
Understood.
Light Wounds.
I was planning on attacking anyway, but that's fine. Cool.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty bad. Oh, by the way, when I rolled Arcana, you didn't mention anything about like resistances in terms of fire. Is that correct?
Let me double check my creatures here for a second. I mentioned its immunities. It has no resistances
Oh,
that
nice.
you can determine.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, so I will attack the one in front of me, which is 2.
You know what? I'm so sorry. Before you go on, there's just a little bit of information that might be worthwhile.
Okay.
You believe that this falls under the qualification of animated objects. Animated objects are crafted with potent magic to follow the commands of their creators. When not commanded, they follow the last order they received to the best of their ability and can act independently to fulfill simple instructions. Animated objects, including many of those created in the Feywild, might converse fluently or adapt a persona, but for the most part, they're simple automatons. They don't require air, food, drink, or sleep, and they are generally thought to be susceptible to dispel magic.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I had the Mace of Disruption equipped, so I have to use that.
You do not. You can, as a free action, drop it,
Oh,
pull, and swing with another weapon. But that Mace of Disruption is on the floor. So if for some reason you're forced to retreat,
okay.
there's a risk.
All right. I wasn't aware of the drop ability. All right, I'm going to do that then.
Okay.
And I will switch to the Warhammer I have.
For the time being, please keep the Mace of Disruption in your inventory. I don't want to have to give it to you again. But we will know that you dropped it.
And there was nothing on types of damage, reductions, or weaknesses, or anything like that.
I gave you all the information.
Okay, it was all immunities. Just checking. All right. Okay. And that's my turn.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So, oh, I'm sorry. You swung against a creature that was not next to the token, so I fixed it for you. Right, so that's fixer upper. Next, another one of these statues animates.
Oh, well, I had the token at number 4. Was that wrong?
But you dealt the damage to number 1.
Oh, I thought I dealt it to 2. Oh.
No, because I can see where. Oh, you did do it to 2, but 2 is the one directly in front of you.
Yeah, that was my plan. Remember
the weapon missed.
But
the spiritual weapon missed.
oh, I'm so sorry. That's where I got confused. Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Everything's cool.
Okay.
Moving right along. Animated statue number 4. It simply attempts to walk through the spiritual weapon,
The
which it can
spiritual weapon.
do, and then it attempts to hit you. This one seems to be moving a little faster. Oh shit.
What the? What? Okay. Talk about lucky.
Okay. And it also gets a lot of the stiffness seems to be coming out of it.
Oh, that should have missed.
Yeah.
That second attack was a miss.
I'm so sorry. You are correct. Let me find your hit points and heal you for 7. There you go.
You're getting a little overzealous there, bud.
Yeah, just a little bit.
However, we now know one that's worth dispel magic.
Yes, that's true.
Bob, you are up. And after Bob will be Melrath.
All right. Forgive me if I missed this. You said they're immune to psychic, right?
Yes, psychic and poison.
Okay. Let's try to dispel magic on.
Mr. Active, number 4.
Yeah, number
Is a
4.
little less sluggish.
By the way, there's never any harm in checking with me about things like that.
Is there a point to him rolling again on Arcana? Because you kind of
No,
hinted that.
you don't need to roll anything else.
Oh, okay.
You have all the info. I
Okay.
either give you the info or I don't. Like there's no
Damn it!
partial info.
Okay, so it just says choose one, any spell of 3rd or lower on the target ends.
Yeah. So I know what the effect is. Just tell me which one you're targeting, and I'll take it from there.
4.
Okay, number 4. Okay, so let me find. Is that accurate? That doesn't look accurate. That's accurate. Okay. Let me check.
I killed him, didn't I? Did I kill him? I totally killed him.
That's yet to be determined. Where? This should probably have it. Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. And then let me double check this last thing.
And I'll check off my spell slot too.
That sounded good.
Okay.
That was the sound of it
Oh,
falling
Yep.
to the floor.
apparently.
As soon as you cast a spell magic, the entire thing falls apart as if it had been made of ash.
Boom.
Now, when it hits
Take
the
that.
floor, that ash billows upwards, and then just kind of hangs in the air and seems to float upwards a little bit. Melrath, you are up. You hear the sounds of battle coming from inside. They're not especially loud, but are you going to wait out here or go in and join the battle?
I'm going to go in and enjoy the battle.
Okay. Just use your full movement and you'll be able to get inside.
Okay. And then I'll attack number 2.
Okay.
Okay then. I guess I'm not attacking number 2.
Yeah, you charge inside determined to skewer one of these statues and you trip. I don't know. you fucked up something fierce though, bud. Sorry about that. Next up is Fargus. Fargus, as always, is looking for the most opportune spot to hit, and so fires. He misses?
On a 17. Wow.
Wait, is that right? Yes, it is. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay. He's used to missing. So next up in the initiative order is animated armor number 6, which is going to move to here, and
Gonna
this
crit me.
this statue is also moving faster and less stiffly than the others. Does in fact manage to hit you twice, and slams you twice with a surprising amount of force. Tazarath, it is finally your turn. Take your revenge.
Vengeance. All right, it is. I'm gonna great sword number 6. Let's see, moving things around. Stupid small screen. Really?
That's your network connection again.
Try this again.
Holy
Okay.
shit. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So there's that. I'm gonna add a smite to that. So
Okay, that seems wise.
2d6, 2d8. Doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Okay, so then give me just a second. I think. Uh, Sorry, before I do anything else, you hit 5, is that correct? Or is it 6?
He's aiming for the stronger one, so 6.
6, okay. I just want to make sure I apply it to the right monster there. Shit. Try this. Son
Guys,
of
I'm
a
going to hurl a
bitch.
fireball down there. Just saying.
There we
Go
go.
ahead.
10.
I'm resistant. I don't give a fuck.
Should we
Well,
get out of the way?
I should be able to get most of them right now.
Actually, you can get all of them and not hit us in the friendly fire.
Yeah, if you aim far
Well,
enough
I
away.
mean, the reason why I wasn't sure is because one's well, okay, one is moving, but
Yeah, so 1 is going to locate himself here. He's going to take a swing at Melrath. Like the others that have acted recently, his stiffness is less of a factor. However, Melrath, it was
Whoa!
heavily armored until this crit occurred. Holy shit! Yeah, that crit was very serious. So Melrath, having been stumbled from his recent attack, the statue seems to surge forth and take advantage of it, and he slams down his fist onto Melrath's back, and you can hear some of the buckle of the plate in his back. Or, sorry, some of the plate in his back buckle as he, bows before this attack and struggles to get back up. Snake, it's your turn.
yes, I will be fireballing.
I don't need this circle anymore. Also, we have no true sense of what like the size is. So here's what I'm going to say. Add your own pointer,
Okay.
and make it a circle, and remove this pointer. Here's the thing. The line cannot touch Tazarath if you don't want him to be included in it.
Don't worry.
If I don't,
Don't worry. He'll catch me in it.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there as a possibility for you.
oh, how
So drop
do I
Lair.
delete it?
Right click on the center point, and
Mhm.
then go to pointers, and then hit remove pointers.
Okay. All right. Is that good enough?
We're seeing it a different size than you.
Oh,
Oh.
there it is. It popped into existence.
Oh, it just moved. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Please move it again so that I can.
Okay. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll. Yes, it works. I don't have to. You don't have to include Tazareth. But more importantly, what I was trying to say is it's actually going to fill a larger space than that circle you drew.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You're
now.
you're basically going to fling it at the back of the cave and da 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 da. I wasn't certain if it was possible to draw a circle that included the other creatures without including Tazareth, so that was really the experiment.
Oh,
I was going
that was the
for.
test. I see.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about this pointer anymore. In fact, I'm just going to remove it. Remove the pointer, and then let me see about getting you targeting.
I feel like I'm back in geometry class. That was tough.
Whoa, whoa. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I count this up. I'm missing somebody. And I don't think I can duplicate targets, so...
Nope, you have all 5. You have 1, 2, 6, 3, and 5. 4 is
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's who I
Mm.
was forgetting. Okay, so that's fine then. Go right ahead and cast.
Just roll it in the chat?
Yeah.
All right.
It should, in theory, apply to everyone. Okay.
1 success. Nice. We'll take it.
Yeah, that sounds great. So roll your damage.
Those ones get turned to twos, by the way.
Right.
So
Good
it's
catch.
34.
34. Then in that case, who is the one that succeeded? 17. Number 6.
Christ, did you just kill them all?
No, not quite.
That's what Fireball does, yes.
Jesus. I want it.
So
I'm a one-trick pony.
Oh, because 16 had already taken damage.
Right.
So 34. 34.
I'm
Gee,
such a one-trick pony. Snake should just rename himself to Fireball.
Okay. This goes 32, and then
It's going to be fun when we encounter creatures that are resistant or immune to fire.
exactly. That said, your fireball, tears across the battlefield. There's a massive explosion, and who is it? Fargus. Everybody that's outside, you could truly hear that fireball go off.
Yeah. Snake, after he shoots that off, is going to make sure that Fargus is the one that gets turned to stone.
Okay. So most importantly, after all of the fireball rips through, the surprise of the explosion seems to have caught the other statues in the cave as well. So you've actually cleared the cave of every single one of these statues.
Nice.
And as they collapse, as the last statue crumbles, a cloud of dust erupts from its shattered remains and expands to fill the cave. You can sense malevolence from the creature. Everybody roll me an Arcana check.
Oh, okay.
Good job, One Trick Pony.
Sorry. I created something worse.
Wow. Okay. So now that this malevolent entity,
Oh, sorry. Okay, it didn't matter.
well, no, you hadn't rolled for him. That's okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so as this malevolent entity fills the cave, Bob and the fixer-upper start, examining it, quickly making theorizations against it. You think that this entity might actually be Ogremok's Bane. And the the information that you gathered from your Arcana check indicates that it is very definitely of extraplanar origin. So it's not native to this world. Um, and you also suspect, given the fact that it's basically air with some dust in it, it's basically impervious to damage and spells. But if you had a gust of wind spell, you might be able to forcibly move the cloud. But most importantly, now that it's free from these statues, you have an opportunity to banish it.
Oh, didn't we receive?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say, use the scroll, use the scroll, use the
Yeah.
scroll.
You also may be able to cast a spell Good and Evil if you have that spell as well, but you would have to be physically in contact with the cloud.
So wait, I have one of the scrolls. Do I need to use it or give it to someone?
Well, I
What's
mean,
what's
we're
the
still in
scroll?
combat, but
Banishment?
Oh, then you just have to read the spell scroll.
I have to
Banish
read
that
it?
bit. Yeah.
Like me or the character?
Yes. Get rid of yourself.
The character, Kyle.
Okay, he reads it, and it's very long.
Okay. Um, Bob unfurls the scroll and quickly begins to read. The cloud senses the beginnings of the spell and starts to swarm towards you. The air is choked with dust, and despite sputtering, you continue to read. And when you reach the last word of the spell, there is a sudden, horrible sensation. The air from your lungs, some of that dust that got inside, is suddenly forcibly ripped out. And you feel almost as if someone's punched you in the gut from the sudden vacuum it creates. The entire party reels as there is a sudden bright light with large luminous rings stretching outwards. And if you look carefully into that very bright light beyond, you can see nothing but blue sky for miles and miles. And the cloud swirls like a tornado and is sucked into it, and it disappears as a quick pinpoint of light almost as quickly as it appeared in the first place.
I'm very glad you're not making it do the charisma saving throw.
I did it privately.
Good.
Did
I'm glad.
did we just see the top side?
See the top side? No. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Did we win?
You won. Here, the
Woo!
the missing piece of information that your character would know that you would not is that what you actually saw is there are four basic elements that make up the world: fire, earth, air, and water. Each of those has a plane that exists of nothing but that element.
Gotcha.
So there's a plane of nothing but solid earth. There's a plane of nothing but fields of fire for stretching on into infinity. There's a plane of endless sky, and there's a plane of bottomless ocean.
I don't want to go anywhere that's bottomless. Should I delete the scroll from my inventory?
Yes, please.
Woo!
Well, that's one thing, one problem down.
Yes, and a significant one at that. So at that point, we're out of initiative order for the moment. However, there's no sign of the Medusa coming out of her cave.
Maybe she didn't like him.
Could be, could be.
Might have done her a favor.
Right?
Why don't you go talk to her about it?
I was actually going to do that.
Snake, you're related. Go talk to her.
Hey.
Also, Alex, at
Yes.
some point in the future, could I have my max HP back?
Probably. I think it was reduced by a ghost, right?
It lowered down at. We took a long rest after it got lowered down to whatever it was, but the actual value has never gone past 8.
Snake, Tazarath. Um, wait, I'm sorry. I see 18. Are you saying it should be 8 higher than that?
It should
No,
be 27, if I recall.
Okay, no
or
problem.
26.
26.
Oh wait, no, it should. Oh wait. Actually, wait. Sorry, one second. Let me check real fast. We take average when we level up, right?
That's always been your choice, yes. Well, it's not just pure average. It's it's 1 higher than the average. So if you roll a d6, it's 4 plus your con modifier.
All right, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 plus 6 plus 1. It should be 31. Thank you.
No problem. So there we go. Oh, did you account for getting max hit points at first level?
Oh, yes. 6 plus, yeah, 7 plus, yep.
Okay, good. Then we're all set. Thank you for reminding me, and let me also delete this spiritual weapon. Actually, let me not delete that spiritual weapon. You're gonna keep it for fighting the Medusa?
Unfortunately, it only lasts for a minute.
Well, right, which means that you would have to immediately charge in there. Is that what you're going to do?
No, I think we'll try it a little more friendly to start, because as we were saying, maybe she didn't want that guy to be around anymore.
Okay, fair point.
I can always
So
recast it.
so exactly how are you going in there? Are you all going together? Are you sending a spokesperson? Does that spokesperson have good charisma?
I was about to say, who are we sending in with our eyes closed?
Leroy Jenkins.
You know, I would also observe, just from my ability to see the whole party, that the 3 highest charismas are Bob and Snake tied at 20, and Tazarath at 17.
All right, and then the second question is, from our Arcana rolls, what type of save is Petrification? And which one of you has the higher of that?
Hold on just a second. What just went wrong?
I want to make a new character, so.
You already
Oh.
have 2. Don't be greedy.
Okay, so fucking with it is what threw it off. Never mind. Sorry, it is a Constitution saving throw.
Snake
Okay,
is
so which one?
+5.
To Constitution saving throw, and then Snake it is.
Oh.
Wait a
Okay.
minute, let me see here. Actually, technically, Tazarath has the higher Constitution by 1 point. One modifier point. But he has a lower
Tazareth has already
Constitution.
taken a whooping though, so I think Snake.
Well, okay. Does Snake agree?
Snake just did all of the grunt work in the last fight.
Tazarath
Snake used one spell slot.
I can't help it. I'm a one-trick pony, and it just happened to work. All right, I'll go in there. It's fine.
Okay. So, let me just see something.
But I need suggestions on what the hell I need to say, because I'm a snake. I'm not a good talker.
I'm actually okay if someone else role plays through you. I know that's not your forte.
Well, that's true, but I had inventory today, and so I'm just kind of zonked. So
No, that's fine. Like that, and so okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab Snake. I'm gonna put him there. Then I'm going to put that there. Giantess Medusa. And so she's going to be, say, here. That way I can activate both. Everybody else arrange yourselves. Now, Bob, you can't be in solid stone.
Who said?
Me. There we go. Okay, so now that you've come inside, when Bat was in here, the description of the place that he had given indicated that the Medusa was standing. with her eyes closed, arms crossed, in meditation or prayer. But at this point, the Medusa is now kneeling, and you have a better view of the statue now. The statue appears to be to Lolth. Um, and since you've dealt with the Drow so much, they basically worship just one god, the Spider Queen of the Drow, known as Loth. She is a demon that lives in the abyss, and she also enforces a matriarchal society upon the Drow and a whole bunch of other, nasty evil nonsense. And she basically rules over Drow society as a whole. Um, and now that you also have a somewhat better view, because her back is towards you, but I'm assuming that you're going to choose not to look at her.
That is correct.
Okay. Um, you can catch glimpses of white hair. The Medusa, like I said, is kneeled. The hair is very gently waving. It's not making any noise. And yeah, so she has her back to you at this particular moment. So uh, anybody who cares to roleplay, jump in here, say stuff on his behalf.
Just to check, our secondary goal, if we don't want to kill her, is just to get her to leave. Is that what it was?
Yes, it is also acceptable to get her to leave if she's willing to do so.
All right. Well, I say we just kind of point out the obvious, what we did, and if she's pleased by that, maybe we can get her to leave. If not, then we're probably going to have to kill her.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they want to add?
Just being polite, asking her name, what she's doing here, if this is her original home, if we are trespassing, if so, sorry, etc., etc., etc.
Okay, I can easily accept all of that. You say all these things loudly enough that she should be able to hear you. There is no movement from the Medusa in that moment. But seconds later, directly in front of you, the Medusa appears out of thin air.
Bitch.
Her snake hair writhing, screeching at you, and you have to make a saving throw versus petrification. I'm going to drop it on you in just a second.
Cool.
Let's see here. Petrifying stare. You
All right.
succeed despite your surprise. It appears that the creature. Actually, I already identified her. That's fine.
Who suggested we try to rationalize with this bitch? Gosh.
Yeah, no.
You can still, since you were forced to look at her, see the other Medusa beyond here, and now that the surprise is gotten to you, you have a suspicion that might have been an illusion all along, and given the way that she appeared in front of you, that was likely invisibility.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. So everybody, quickly roll initiatives for me. Now, the Medusa acted first here because she successfully surprised you. So we're going to start below the Medusa in the initiative order. If you are above her, then you will not act until the start of the following round.
Well, at least that means I'm not above her.
Exactly.
My
So
low roll actually works out in my
I know.
favor for
I know.
once.
It's great.
it looks like everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing. I think we're missing someone, aren't we? No, there's Tazarath. Okay. Then
And
Tazarath, you're going to be first to act. So from your perspective, you hear the screech of the Medusa using her petrifying gaze. You can hear Snake cry out in surprise. You can sort of see the Medusa beyond, but again, you're not looking. I'm going to assume that you're not looking directly at her.
No.
But for
Can we
the
try to,
purposes of everybody's turn, when you start your turn, you need to tell me yes or no only. Are you looking at her or not?
Oh, does Snake get a yes because of what happened, or no?
Snake was forced to look at her because she chose to put herself directly in front of him while invisible.
So Snake has to start his turn by averting his eyes if he doesn't want to have to roll again.
Correct.
Shit.
I'm going to use one of those pocket crystals. Oh, actually, wait a second.
Can
Well-
we roll to find out like immunities and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
First things first. Yeah, I'm going to roll to do that. Specifically, one of the things that I would like to know, if I succeed, is whether or not she needs light or sight in order to petrify.
Okay, so first of all, you guys have already rolled for the Medusa's information. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
going to
okay.
carry that forward for you. I'm not going to put you through it because you technically already learned it. So this is a medium monstrosity. They are generally lawful evil. Their curse is what drives them into that particular state. They have dark vision. As far as the petrifying gaze goes, a creature that can see the Medusa's eyes and starts its turn within 30 feet of the Medusa has to choose yes or no. If they look at it, they are forced to look into its eyes, and then they have to make that saving throw. If the Medusa, if you fail the saving throw by 5 points or more, you are instantly petrified. Otherwise, you begin to turn to stone and restrained. It starts from the bottom up. A restrained creature must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn. It is petrified on a failure or ends the effect, reversing the petrification on a success. The petrification lasts until the creature is freed from the spell. Unless surprised, a creature can avert its eyes to avoid the saving throw at the start of its turn. And we already talked about all that stuff. If the Medusa sees itself reflect, and she has a number of different effects that she can do beyond that. Her snake hair is a weapon, by the way.
So the reason I'm asking that is I've got a once per day darkness spell. Do you guys think that is a good idea to cast?
We all. Never mind. Yeah,
So
that doesn't.
here's the thing: we already
it-
all have disadvantage anyway, so it would give her disadvantage, I believe.
Yeah,
Correct?
it
Mhm.
says specifically a creature with dark vision cannot see through this darkness.
Right.
Well, and
Oh.
as far as this goes, if you can't see her eyes, then you're safe from petrification. Now, here's the downside. When you create it, like let's say for example, and I'm just going to draw a pointer real quick, pointer like this. Okay, so I'm going to say that darkness will cover about this area. And, you know, if you're going to create one that, I put it right underneath her fat ass. There we go. So if you create darkness, it will cover this area. And what will effectively happen is Snake and Medusa will vanish. So you don't know where in the area to hit. So if you're using something like Searing Rays, you have to pick an approximate location, hope that you're correct because it's a pinpoint attack, and then go from there. Now, if you're Snake and you just want to fling fireballs in there,
I'm gonna Misty Step Fireball on my next turn. By the way, that's my plan.
Yeah,
which
that's
comes up immediately after Tazarath. So you know that's all I'm trying to say. Like you can hit this area with area of effect, and you know go
Yeah.
from there.
So yeah, make it dark, I guess.
darkness away.
Okay, well then I'm just going to leave the state of things as it currently is. And so now Tazarath, is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
Hmm.
Oh, and by the way, since you mentioned using the crystal, here's what I'm going to say. Because everybody has kept the crystal on their utility belt, if you're going to start your turn and you're going to choose to attempt to overcome that petrification through a saving throw, you have to tell me that you're doing so and using the crystal. And then if that has an effect, you will find out at the time that you roll the saving throw.
Okay.
Okay?
Mostly I'm using the reflective qualities of the crystal to sort of look around, but it's kind of pointless at the moment because of the darkness. So
So you didn't use the crystals where we're going to land on that. So, Snake, you're up. So I'm going to put you here. Just you can move yourself elsewhere if you want, but I know you're using Misty Step. Now, do you have to be able to see the place that you're stepping to?
Good question.
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
That you can
Lovely.
see, so that won't work. Now,
But if you
let's be realistic here for just a second.
Yeah.
If you walked into a room in your house and somebody suddenly turned out the lights on you, but you hadn't moved, you would be at least aware of where the door was.
Right.
And so that's the situation that you find yourself in. You can walk directly backwards. Turning around could get you lost, but you can walk backwards up to your speed, and get out that way, and that would place you, approximately here.
Yeah. And that's fine for what I'm about to do. So,
Right.
okay.
And actually, can anyone see the Medusa right now, like on the map?
No.
no,
No.
Okay, good.
And what is Chris? What's the duration and the range of darkness, or the
let's see.
size?
Darkness is supposed to be 15-foot radius sphere,
Oh,
and,
that's really
and,
small.
yeah, and the duration is up to 10 minutes based on
Okay.
concentration. I could end it at any time.
Then in that
Oh.
case, it's probably a little closer to like that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Now, also, this is super important, and it applies to any spell that says you can end it at any time. You may end spells and effects that you create on other people's turns.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Anyways, Snake, you've moved out of the space.
Whoops.
I'm going to target you on Medusa. So you can go ahead and roll cast on whatever you want to cast.
Okay. I don't need to draw the circle. I'm just
No, you can just fireball.
because
It'll
it's
be fine.
bigger. I mean, the fireball's I think bigger than the
Yeah,
darkness. So.
yeah.
Screw
But
casting magic
significantly,
missile in the
yes.
darkness.
Yeah. It's a 20-foot radius. Is darkness 20 feet as well, Chris?
No, he said
15.
15.
Oh, okay. So it is bigger. All right.
Slightly, yeah.
All right. So I'll just roll that directly on her.
You can just roll it in the chat. It should get her now.
Okay. Oh, that's a bad save.
That is a very bad save. That is unfortunate. She didn't see it coming.
That means that at best she has a +3 to dex saves, which is going to make my next turn very fun.
All right. So that's
Ooh.
28. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for
Mhm.
pointing that out for me. 28. So yeah, fireball rips through that area. You can certainly hear it, but you only see the very edges of it, as the fiery gas evaporates. Blah 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 blah. Melrath, go.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to stand on the edge of the darkness sphere and wait for her to come out so I can grapple her.
Okay.
Right on the edge. Okay.
Yep.
It's a man on the edge.
Can someone go in the darkness and just like shove her over or something?
No, because we don't know where she is.
How would you do that?
Oh, I forgot it was darkness.
Do you have blind sight or something? I don't get it.
I don't know. I told you I'm drinking wine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. How far in are you?
About 3/4.
Is it a
Oh,
good
all right.
bottle?
Not really.
Just the average Monday, right? That's the way to live.
Uh-huh. It's the best game of D&D I've ever had. Also, Chris, whatever you did, you sound a lot better than you ever have.
Thank you, I guess. I was fiddling around with all the different plugs on the back of my thing to get my Wi-Fi connection working again, and I guess it did something.
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
maybe.
Anyway, Eric, do you want me to turn off the darkness at any point, or?
Oh no, just keep it there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's most logical that if she was going to try to get out of it, she would go that direction.
Let's keep in mind she can turn invisible, and we're not sure how many more times she can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's your turn then. I just want to be sure.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
All right, Tristan, top of the round.
Okay, party vote. Do I lightning bolt to the center of the darkness where it was placed on her face before she could move? Or do I cast See Invisibility on myself to make sure the little bitch doesn't run away?
Where Eric is, Mr. DM, can you explain like what's his zone of control? Like how does the door relate to what he's guarding? And
Oh, okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. Now, remember, all of these distances are approximate. So imagine that this was a grid. Eric
okay,
controls the spaces to the left and to the right of them, and technically blocks the square that he's in, right?
hmm
There is one more square to the right of Eric that the creature could possibly pass through and be out of his reach. So
oh, okay.
it's I believe that makes it a 20-foot wide doorway.
Then I think we need to have the insurance policy of being able to see her,
Okay. Well,
just to be safe.
and
It's also a free. Part of the reason I mentioned like ending spell effects, it's a free action to talk to each other. So if anyone wants to quote unquote command Tazarath to bring down the darkness, then
Oh, okay. So
you
you
can
think lightning bolt
coordinate
would
like
kill
that,
her?
it's 8d6 damage to her face.
which is as much as
Eh,
fireball.
Yeah, I
And actually,
she's not bloody though, so I'm a little concerned. She's
she's
just
not
wounded, right?
bloodied. She has no resistances, immunities, or status effect immunities.
Oh, but that Bob has a turn after anyway, right? So we should be okay.
Bob, Fixer Upper, Ront, and Fargus. All
Yeah.
have
All right.
turns.
All right. I think yeah. You can use some artillery for a change. It doesn't always have to be me.
Now, there's one last thing that I want to check. Tazarath, you know your spell list better than me. Is darkness your racial ability or a paladin spell?
I do not remember. I believe.
For tieflings, it's racial because I have it as
Yeah.
well.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was racial. So
Well, I know that you're also an evil paladin, so I thought that it was possible that it was something that
yeah.
you had picked up. But okay, that's
And
fine.
oath spell, no. It's hold person and spiritual weapon are my level 2 oath spells.
Okay. So just keep in mind that if he lowers it, he's not going to be able to put it back up.
But Bob can.
Yeah.
That's very true. I just want to
You
make
got
sure.
the tiefling racial spells covered, you two.
I think that future parties are going to have quite a few more tieflings in them now.
I never thought darkness would come in handy because we all have dark vision, but
I know, right? So ultimately, yeah, go ahead. So Tristan, you want to drop the darkness?
Well, I should. So the darkness was dropped centered on her, right?
It was when it was cast, yes.
And she cannot have moved after this point.
Not by means that you were aware of, no.
So I don't even think the darkness needs to be dropped. I'm just going to aim the line of lightning bolt through the center, direct center.
Okay, I guess that's pretty safe.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead. You're targeted.
Failure.
Okay. You believe that the effect was successful. Obviously, like Fireball, you can't exactly confirm it. So, Bob, you are up.
So since I don't have to see her to do this, could I cast Mind Spike?
That's a very interesting question. Let me just double check that is so. Reach into the mind of a creature you can see within range.
Damn it!
Sorry,
Well,
buddy.
could you? I mean,
Is the
that's
darkness still there?
Yes,
I
the
forget.
darkness is present.
But again, it doesn't need to be. You can always ask him to drop the darkness and re-up your own.
But you can't cast Mind Spike and Darkness yourself in the same turn,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Right.
But I could just kind of throw something in the middle of that darkness.
If it's an area effect, yes.
Okay.
Do you have any area effect spells?
Firebolt?
It is
No.
a targeted spell.
Hmm.
Don't forget, you can click the red dragon head to open up spells.
Now he could. Can
Yeah,
he
I'm
cast
looking.
a spell plus a cantrip?
Yes, if he could cast the cantrip as a bonus action.
Oh, okay.
Do you have illusionary weapon?
I have hit hypnotic pattern. I could try to hypnotize her.
Pretty sure that requires
They
sight.
have to be able to see it, yeah. I mean, you could also always try to bring down, request the darkness go down and cast hypnotic pattern and hope that works. But I can tell you that there is a spell in here that is area of effect that you can cast.
Oh, on my list.
I'm looking at it now.
Just read off your list. One of us will chime in.
Is poison spray area?
Poison spray is actually targeted.
Dissonant whispers?
Targeted.
No.
Well, actually, open up Dissonant Whispers.
Where does it say that?
Click the red dragon head. Read the first
Yeah.
line.
Within range can hear. Ah.
Yes.
Ah,
Okay.
interesting.
Well, thank you. Let's try it.
You're welcome.
And now you guys have a combo.
Mm-hmm.
Wombo combo.
Combo.
That poor Medusa is like, haha, I would attack from a visit. Oh god, why are they doing that?
Yeah. Save.
So, on a save,
Oh.
what happens?
She takes half damage. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah,
Is
at
that
least it's a half save.
Should be auto, right?
It should automatically take care of it. If it doesn't, I'll fix it. Yes. Okay. So
She's confirmed to heavy now. Interesting.
She's heavy, man.
Bob holds his wand, I believe you have, up to your, or maybe it's a rod, up
It's
to your,
definitely a rod.
excellent, up to your mouth, and you whisper into it like a microphone.
I need to be drinking too, buddy.
And
Oh,
as you
Lord.
whisper into it, you can hear the Medusa shriek from within.
Ugh.
So wait, I'm sorry. Let me just make sure I know the rest of these. Oh, okay. So there's no bonus effect because, yeah. So you marked off your pact magic, and Fixer Upper, you are up.
All right. Well, spiritual weapon is my go-to bonus action,
Okay.
and I do have one more level 2 spell slot, so it's gone now.
Okay.
Oh, the darkness is still there.
Yes.
Do you want me to drop that?
Yeah, drop that darkness.
Okay.
Dropped.
Monster Manual, Sword. Helps when you spell sword correctly. All right, give me just a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. First of all, remove the pointer. Then shrink the sword to an appropriate size. And then Medusa is here. Now, because the darkness is dropped, you must make a choice. Are you going to look at the creature or not?
Oh, I thought it wasn't in 30 feet range. Fixer upper is?
Oh, you're right, actually. You're just beyond it. Okay.
Lucky me.
You better hope she doesn't move.
Well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. See, a spiritual weapon has a range of 60 feet, so okay.
So you're well set, yes.
Yes, of course. So my plan on this turn is okay. Yeah, sacred flame and spiritual weapon. All right, because that's 60 feet as well.
Right.
Right. So, guess I'll spiritual weapon first. I attack. Shall I just drop it on her?
Yeah, that should do it.
Nice. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, and now my main action will be Sacred Flame. Oh,
It actually worked for once.
we'll take it. Oh, only 7. Sorry, guys.
Only
7 more than it usually does.
It's also
okay.
only 1 point below average, so not
Mm.
bad all in all. At this point, I want to point out that the Medusa appears to be bloodied. So next up is Ront.
Charge.
No.
Stony Rot.
8-pointy stick. He hurls a javelin. He hits.
Ront God.
God bless Ron.
Oi, Stuckard.
From Southern to Cockney, that's what he does.
This is why I'll never be a
Fargus.
voice
Where
actor.
am I from?
Fargus again pitifully
Misses.
misses with his crossbow, but in fairness, he couldn't see the target. So,
All right, time for someone to get stoned.
now it's time for the Medusa.
Whoa. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
She immediately uses Misty Step to get to this location. And
Oh, we're fucked.
then
Well, she can't turn us all to stone.
Look away. Look.
Famous last words.
Oh, okay, I got it. So, she's going to do here. Her snake hair lashes out, attempting to strike at you, but fortunately your shield comes up in time to block the fangs. Then she whirls on Snake with her short sword, misses the first blow,
How can
Pathetic.
she attack her own?
but crits on
Oh,
the second,
shouldn't have said that.
and then
Oh, for 5? Crit.
it was a very sad crit. So, with that vicious lashing, Tazarath, you are up. Are you looking or not?
I was not looking, and I'm saying that on the basis that she Misty stepped over,
Oh,
and I was sort of caught by surprise.
okay. Well, all right, go ahead. So you're at disadvantage for any melee attacks.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna swing wildly, but you know what? The first, I can do guided strike.
Yep.
So plus 10, even, well, the plus 10 will only be on one roll at the disadvantage, right? Won't it?
Uh-huh.
That would be a
Still
waste.
accrued- Well, yeah, I guess. not
I
really.
mean, you know.
Mm.
I'm not sure what like. Most of what I have right now is melee attacks of some flavor or other. So lacking anything better.
If
to
only
do.
you had acid you could throw on her.
Wait a second, I do. I have a vial of acid.
Yeah, but you'll be at disadvantage to throw that too.
Wait, what about the filter of love?
I mean, you would have to grab her and force her to drink it, which is, you know.
I don't think we need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Melrath is the person in charge of that decision because he's the person holding it. And you guys should have thought of that before this moment.
Who made that decision?
All right. So, all right, I'm going to swing my great sword at her because that's what I do. Oh, frick! I have to roll disadvantage anyway.
You already missed.
Well, let's try it a second time then.
Okay.
It hit. Okay.
Okay.
Gonna burn a smite as well.
No, the first one missed though.
I know.
Okay. Well, it's still a respectable amount of damage. So, oh, I'm sorry. Before I continue, is there anything else you want to do? Move away? Anything else? Chris?
Gonna try and use that crystal because
No.
It's-
No. I'm sorry. At the start of your turn, you have to say, I'm using the crystal and trying to make the saving throw or not. That's it. You already said you weren't looking. You're not using it this turn.
screw it.
Okay. Snake, you're up. Are you going to look or not?
Can I look at my spell list first?
Yes, but no other decisions can be made about.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. I'm running out of options.
Ever.
Everything I have left is sight, and I don't think shooting a fireball right now is a good idea.
Well, if it's something involving a saving throw like Toll the Dead, it should not be effective.
Yeah, but I don't have that.
So here's a question. It says you can cast the darkness spell once per day.
Hmm.
Does that take up a spell slot?
No, it actually takes up that use of darkness.
Okay. So I could cast darkness again, but she's right in the middle of us all. So
And it would suddenly shroud the entire party in darkness, so yeah.
yeah. Everyone run away.
Yeah, so I really don't have any spell options. I'm choosing not to look at her. And I will just melee attack her at disadvantage. That's really all I have. And oh, what a shame. I dropped 19. All right. I'm gonna Misty Step away from her. I assume that doesn't provoke an opportunity of attack, or am I
It
wrong?
does not, it's a teleport.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. All right, cool. So I will just get away to, I guess, here. Is that 20 feet-ish?
Yeah, we can say this about 20 feet.
Okay. That's my turn.
Wonderful. So next up is Melrath. Melrath, are you looking, yes or no?
Yes, I'm looking.
Oh boy.
Melrath is petrified.
Are you looking through the crystal?
Nope.
Such a brave man.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So are you looking, though? I want to make sure I'm clear on that.
Yes, I am looking directly at her.
Okay. Then let me just drop this on you. See what you get. You succeed. All right, Melrath, go for it.
I saw
Alright,
the 8 and I thought, wow, he's screwed. Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to grapple her. Drop my sword and try and grab her. Shall I roll a strength check or something?
All right. Roll what kind of check?
Strength for grapple.
Yeah, for grappling.
Yes. Go right ahead.
No.
I'm sorry you don't succeed. I had to roll a contested check, I believe is how it works, and it didn't work out. I mean, she could have always rolled lower, but she didn't.
Alright, I'll use my action surge to try again.
Okay.
Yes!
Personally,
What?
don't worry about it. So anyways, so there's your strength check. I'm sorry, I have to roll hers. Scott was very excited to tell me something. You succeed. She is grappled. So let me just, I think if I go to conditions, I can grab from here. I cannot. Well, can I add?
Misty Step out of this. Well, I guess she.
She can actually. It's a teleport.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, she can.
Let me think about this for a second. You know what? I'm going to do something slightly complicated because I think it's going to work in my favor. Give me just a moment. Challenge rating index and then do. Okay, and then go like this and wait, maybe I'm thinking the wrong thing. Is it the
Restrain.
no. Here it is. There we go. Okay. So here's what I ended up doing. I went into the Shambling Mounds creature block, which you've already fought. It has a grapple on it, and I wanted to grab that particular effect because I believe programming-wise, there's information in there regarding like what grapple does to the creature, so that thing should calculate properly rather than me just typing it in there. Here's the effects of grapple for everybody's information. A grappled creature's speed becomes 0 and cannot benefit from any bonus to its speed. The condition ends if the grappler is incapacitated. The condition also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or grappling effect, such as when a creature is hurled away by Thunderwave, a spell that pushes a target, or teleport, of course. So there you go.
Yeah, and then I was going to drag her back into that doorway.
Okay.
I can't move far because I have half movement speed with
Right.
her.
So you move her back like so.
Yep.
Okay. So that's Melrath. Take it to the top of the round. Tristan, you are up. Now, you are still within range, so let me know what you're going to do.
Not looking, walking as far away as my movement will allow me, and then Toll the Dead.
Okay. Yeah, that should be about fine. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Because you started within range, you have to make a binary choice, even if you move out of range afterwards.
I mean, so I cannot use any ability that requires me to see the target if I start in range.
Sorry.
No, I'm just making sure of that because that.
No, you're correct.
Okay. Then instead, I'm going to Mel's Minute Meteor,
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so you
and then I'm
cast
just going to
that,
cast it.
and
I'm
then
going to hit 5 feet in front of her.
yes, that's an area effect, so you can do that fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she fails.
How do I increase damage again?
What? Wait, what? Why would you
I'm
increase?
using 2 meteors, and I don't want to roll twice because this always messes up. How do I increase damage?
Oh, I think you. Was it hold control? Hold on a second. I'm gonna test it myself. Oh, you right click when you're holding the dice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Not my best.
No, but that's still a respectable amount of damage. She's not looking good at this point.
And that's
A
my
lot
turn.
of wounds, explosions. Thank you, Tristan. Bob, you
Bob.
are up. I believe that you are just outside of range.
Ooh, lucky you, Bob.
So even if I did look at her, though, let's say
You're
I
not.
You're
didn't
fine.
look.
So
If
right
I
now, she can only affect creatures within a 30-foot radius of her. Based on where Snake moved, and again, it's not perfect, but I think you're just barely outside of it. So even if you look directly at her, she cannot petrify you.
right, but if I was in range and I didn't look at her, could I still target stuff that needs to be
No,
seen?
we just answered that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Only with
That's the successful
area of
question.
effect. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
that's
you
what I thought. I was
like
confused.
in the case of the meteor, he's able to hit a spot that affects 5 feet
Mhm.
around it. So he can
Gotcha.
look at a spot that is within 5 feet of
Right.
her and target that. See how that
Yeah.
works?
Yep.
Okay.
I unfortunately do not have any area of effect, so
No,
I'm
no,
just
you're
Yeah,
outside
you
of range.
don't
You
need
can
to.
do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can
well.
target her
Okay.
with direct
You
spells
can
like
Toll the Dead or whatever you have. I don't.
Toll the
You can
Dead,
mind spike
Eldritch
if you
Blast.
want.
Oh.
Okay. So she succeeded on that,
Ah,
which means I
crap.
don't
You
think
know
you
what?
get to roll any damage.
Oh,
Check the spell though, be sure.
it's 1d8. It's not 12.
It's D12 if she's been damaged.
Yeah, it's no damage if you if they save.
Right. Yeah.
They say
No, it
So-
says it must succeed at a wisdom.
And she did.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. 1d8 if damage and 1d12 if missing. So,
All
sorry,
right.
it got missed. Fixer Upper, you are up.
the weapon chases her. I'll attack with that first. Oh, right. Oh, what a terrible roll. Oh, but does the grappling doesn't affect that?
Nope, just reduces speed to 0.
Correct.
Oh,
Which means
unfortunate.
that she won't be able to, just move. But yeah, go ahead.
Hmm. Oh, was I out of range or not? I didn't even get.
You are within range. I'm sorry.
Oh, so obviously I will not look at her, which limits my options.
You could always try the crystal.
It's okay. I can just run up to her and swing at disadvantage. I have a good attack roll, so.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
With one arm
Disadvantage.
over your face, you swing with the other one like a feather duster.
Nice. Okay. 13. Still alive. I'm impressed.
Okay,
has a
well,
lot of hit
regardless,
points.
you managed to land a very solid blow.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you smack her across the face with the warhammer. Eric kind of makes a cringe at the blow. Fortunately, he's short enough that it doesn't even come close. And so Ront is up. He's going to, well, he's definitely outside, so he's going to fling another javelin. He
Oh, Ront.
hits, and he kills her.
MVP.
Okay, seriously, we can't let him die.
Victory!
Who killed Medusa? Who killed Medusa? Ront did. Ront is the MVP.
So
Amazing.
at this point, Melrath has the Medusa gripped pretty solidly around the waist, and then just above his head, a javelin juts out the back of her, and she sputters and coughs up blood. And then she collapses, falling over to the side, and due to her weight, so does Melrath being partially trapped underneath her.
Do we have to save him now?
So that was okay. So now that she's dead, you can see that there, as far as you know, there are no more invisible Medusa within. Now there's a whole space back there to investigate. So what are you guys gonna do?
I'm going to use my last 3rd level spell slot to cast See Invisibility and then investigate.
Okay.
Good thinking.
I would cast Find Traps, but I'm out of 2nd level spells. Sorry.
It's okay. I can just run into them.
Yeah, that's true. You're our trap finder.
But yeah, I'm going to investigate the cave that the Medusa was.
Yeah. See what she's got.
Do the impossible. See the invisible. Row, fight the power.
Okay, so you cast the invisible, and are you gonna go into the cave as well?
Yeah, I'm investigating the cave.
Just making sure. So you step within the cave. You carefully scan the room with see invisibility, and give me just a second. Is that? Ugh. Huh. What are they in though? I'm sorry. Let me just read the rest of this. So the important thing is that you don't find anything invisible. However, in the back, there is a the pole, I suppose, that is holding dresses that the creature had once worn. There are 5 of them. They are made of spider silk, and they appear to be shaped by drow magic. They are exceedingly fine garments. And the one that was on her is destroyed, so instead of being 6, there's 5. But if you'll all pop over to the inventory screen of the party sheet, these dresses are likely worth 200 gold piece each if sold in the
Whoa,
markets of the Underdark.
nice.
Anybody want
What
to
if we
carry
want to
those?
wear them instead?
They provide no armor bonuses whatsoever, but you will feel very elegant in your cocktail dress.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, I bet this poor lady was a drow before she got turned into Medusa.
Actually, now that you can look at her closer, her hair, the snakes are actually white. Normally, the Medusa have green hair, and she has dark skin, so that also tends to. Here, actually, this is a picture of what a quote-unquote regular Medusa looks like.
Mhm.
See the green snakes?
Fetching.
Yeah. So, anyways, this but with spider silk dress. So, yeah. Anyways, it does in fact appear that this creature was a drow. And actually, if you give me just a second, I think there's one other piece of stuff that's in here. Here we go. I have to go back just a little bit. Okay. You also managed to find in a dresser a journal. It is written in Elvish. Does anybody speak Elvish?
I do.
Okay.
No, but I can read it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm just reading through this to summarize.
Is this her diary? Are we going to read her diary?
Yes,
Because that's fucked up.
I mean, it
We
is.
just murdered her.
Yeah.
Dear diary.
I
So and
mean,
so is so cute.
they always said that these are morally slippery grounds. So, okay. So, um, it appears that this creature was once known as Nehedra, Neheedra. Nehedra. Um, Nehedra was one of the multitude of drow that originally came through and wiped out the city. And I think it was 50 years ago. I already told you guys once, but even I don't remember at this point. Um, so yeah, about
However long it was ago.
exactly. But I mostly wanted to give you that because she looks pretty good for 50 plus. I mean, she's also a drow, but anyways. Um, so anyways, she had um, come to the city with the rest of them, and then um, according to this, at some point, um, Ogremok's Bane, the entity that you banished, uh, began to haunt the drow with the same relentless cruelty that it did the deep gnomes, and it turned the drow's elemental servants against them. And eventually, as the drow armies departed the city, um, Nahindra stayed behind. She had become obsessed with collecting spell gems for for their power and beauty, intent on making herself regal and a powerful master of her own underground realm. She commanded a force of drow servants and soldiers with incredible cruelty, relentlessly driving them to seek out the spell gems that may still be hidden within the city to increase her own wealth and power. Overcome by her own greed and vanity, she eventually engaged in dark rituals to secure her hold on the power, imagining that Blingdenstone would want to become a drow enclave with her as its immortal leader. Um, she attempted to reach out to those dark entities in a warlike like pact, and um, it seems that the entity that she reached out to, who is actually Ogremok itself, the elemental prince of evil, um, transformed the priestess into a Medusa uh, in her vanity for thinking that she could, command Ogremok himself. And then, enraged by her fate, she turned on her servants and turned her servants to stone and descended into madness. Um, and eventually those terracotta drow statues, as it were, um, caught the attention of Ogremok's Bane, which was working to animate them to become its own personal army. And then it mentions in here one of the last entries says that some uh, deep gnome was seen out in her garden, and she attempted to petrify it 4 times before she was able to do so. It seems that the crystal helped protect him from her gaze, and that is the last entry. Now at this point, it is 8:57. So we've finished the monster. Unless you want to do any more like talky stuff in terms of turning in the quest and getting the rewards for that, we can just assign those dresses and then move on with our lives.
Is there any other loot to be had by exploring the rest of this cave?
Um, that's a good question. There's nothing left in the Medusa's cave. The Terracotta cave you already investigated, and there wasn't anything there. Um, the only other place that you haven't investigated is if you scroll down a little bit. There's that waterfall cave space. Bat investigated back there. It looked like there might be some treasure within, but it wasn't very clear. And you guys ultimately never explored it. So that's the only other place that you would have
Oh, yeah,
to.
we were going to wait till after the Medusa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Okay. So give me just a moment.
Or we could send Rond.
Rot will solve all problems. Whoa.
Medusa's Lair.
Okay, so right click. I want to go to mask mode. I'm gonna go like, whoa, whoa. Let's try this.
Whoa. Whoa.
And there. Okay. So you guys end up following this passage around. It leads you right to there. I'm gonna move Fargus representing the party. We'll get to about here. A shallow, swiftly flowing stream bisects this cave. Crystalline formations sprout from the floor on both sides of the stream, and rough-hewn staircases at the back of the cave climb 30 feet to a barren stone ledge with a pair of winged statues perched atop it. It seems that the stream is only 3 feet deep, which is not really a problem for anybody but Melrath. And hold on just a second. Now, Bat saw that there were some remains up at the top of the cave on that ledge, um, but he wasn't able to really do anything with it. It looks like there might be something up there, something sparkly, but he wasn't able to discern more about it.
Sparkly, eh?
Hmm.
It's another dress.
I'm going to check it out.
Okay. Surprising no one. The winged statues come to life. And I'm going to plop them here in a second. And then,
Damn it.
in addition, let me see here. Close that. I don't think I need those anymore. Put that there, and then, whoops, no, that there. And statue and statue. All right. This is awkward. This one there, and then I have to make some brief adjustments. Scroll that down to about here, and then scroll that down to about there. Let me double check their size so I got this right. Yep. And then reveal. There we go. A massive stone creature erupts from the earth directly in front of the stream, and we would have to roll initiative at this point. So don't even think about it, Bob. You were close. I saw that.
Damn it.
But that'll be something that we'll handle next time. I'll leave all this stuff in the combat tracker, and we'll be able to take it from there. So thank you guys so much for playing.